bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. yours, forever free.
Hey guys, I just need to adjust the camera. I didn't do that before I started today. So, whoops. It's like just you don't do class for a week and you forget how everything works. But I'm going to fix the color here for you so it'll look more normal. There you go. All right. Yay, we did it. Greetings, Glitter Gang. Happy Thursday. It's August 13th. We're still doing Christmas in July. I realize it's not July, but you know, what can you do? What can you do? Christmas in July just took longer than July. So how is everyone doing? Let's see. We got Donna and Barbara Jean. Gretchen. Lynn Marshall says good evening from England. Good evening, Lynn. Sherry says good morning. Good morning, Sherry. Catherine, how are you? Sherry, I'm glad you were able to be here live. Catherine says hi, everyone. Deb says good afternoon. Happy Glitter Day from Candy. Hello, happy Glitter Day. Priya, hi, how are you? All right, so, oh, Carol Joan, yes, I am feeling better. That was, you know, whatever. Joe Davis says hello. Kathleen, hi. Joyce, hello, all y'all. Ellen, good afternoon. Scrappin' Silly says hello from Michigan. Hello to Michigan. Lori, howdy. Hi, Cindy. Hello. Yeah, last week I was having a problem. It happens enough that, you know, it's not like I was like, what's going on? This has never happened to me before. But it's not something I'm dealing with like constantly 24/7. But I do have a couple different kinds of arthritis. I have one in my spine where I'm like grinding on some nerves or something, and that's causing some neuropathy in both my legs, but my right leg is worse, I think. I don't remember which leg is worse, but one leg was twice as bad as the other leg when I had the nerve test done. And then I also have a different kind of arthritis in my hip, which is like more of the inflammatory kind of arthritis. And every once in a while, this thing happens where I can feel like there's something wrong in between my lower back, my hip, and my thigh. Like the bones are not, they don't feel like they're connecting right. You know, like there's like my leg doesn't feel like it's in my socket right or something. It's kind of hard to explain. And then what happens then is, and I don't know which is the chicken and which is the egg, but then also all the muscles in my upper leg, so like the hip muscle, all of those little tiny muscles that are attaching, like, so you can move your leg and your hips and all those. And then like the thigh muscles, they all like make a fist. So if you can just imagine making a fist and then not being able to unclench your fist for a couple days, what that would be like. Like when you start holding a fist, it's not a big deal. Like it's not the end of the world, but I mean, it gets old. It gets old. Plus, you know, you might want to use your hand. So there's that. And then the longer that goes on, what'll start happening is my lower leg will start tingling and going numb. And then that has its own feelings of discomfort and feels bad. And so it's just like this cascade of problems, like where every single problem that I have has like a flare up all at the same time. Yes, I do have a EMS machine. Yeah, so it's just like, you know, like I want to just, you just want to walk to the bathroom But when you go to put your weight on your leg, you know, your thigh muscles are not working, your hip muscles are not working. And so you have to kind of like figure out how to hobble. Like it's just, you know, it's not, like I said, it's not the end of the world when it happens. It's not like anything like newly bad is happening to me, but it's just very, very horribly uncomfortable for a couple days every once in a while. And then once it stops, everything is sore. All those muscles are just so sore, and I'm so exhausted, you know, again, because if you held a fist for 2 days, your hand would be sore when you let it go. Like that's just, you know, that's just how it is. So that's what was going on with me. Doesn't that sound fun? Now my now it's so annoying because the nerves in my shin are like phantom hurting me right now, just like a reminder, you know. Like this happened to you. Remember what that felt like? It's like I can feel in my shin where they would be hurting and tingling. They're kind of like it's like a like a phantom memory of pain. It's great. It's great. Oh, I never turned the lights on in here. What the heck? Oh man, talk about not knowing how to do a show. All right, lights are on now. I mean these lights were on, but the room lights were not on. Okay. So, where we left off is I had just shown you how to make if you wanted to make the pouch of the Pouchalopa shaker, I had shown you how you can add a shaker after the fact. So you don't have to decide when you're making the Pouchalopes if you want shakers or not. You can add shakers later if you want to. And I cut this out and put it in its own video just so if you want to go back and just review how to make shakers, you can. Okay, so that's the last thing. So did we finish all of these? I wish I remembered, because if we did, well, maybe I'll look at the bottom. Look at the bottom and the top. So do we just need to make the box? Oh no, I said we were going to embellish, right? Oh yeah, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. All right. Now I remember. Now I remember. All right. So let's go look at our embellishments and sort of get those organized. Which I think I pulled them out and put them in their own little bag here. All right, so we've got strips, cards, little doodads, bows. Okay, and more cards. Okay. All right, so what this is going to turn into maybe is a how I organize my embellishments or prep my embellishments sort of video. So let's talk about that. Let's do some education. All right, I'm going to bring my big trimmer over just so that I'm not talking while cutting off camera. That would be less interesting. And then let's talk about that. So the first thing that I would do is I would cut all my, I'm going to cut all my border strips. All right. So what I'm doing here is, do you see this flashlight? Because of where I've put this flashlight, you can see it a little bit better maybe this way. I can see how, oh, here it is. You can see it. You can see how I can see the edge of the trimmer. Very clearly see where the edge of the trimmer is because the edge of the trimmer is blocking this light from showing up through. So if you're going to be doing a lot of like cutting of strips, this is just a little pro tip to make it easier. Oops, I'm going to move this to the other side. And that will, because paper isn't always straight. So, oh, my head is in the camera. Sorry for blocking with my face. So yeah, Kathryn says, I have the same rototrim as you and I've struggled with lining border strips up. So that's all you need to do, Kathryn. Just get a LED flashlight and shine it so that you can see where the edge is. And you know, you may need to experiment with where you need to put your flashlight to see it best. It depends on where your overhead lights are. All right, so then there's going to be one that's going to be too, well, maybe I can, it's going to be too hard to get this last one. So what I will do in those cases is I'll just cut it with scissors because I'm pretty comfortable cutting with scissors. And if I ink the edges, even if I get it not perfectly straight, if you ink the edges, it's not gonna make a difference. And the reason I recommend an LED flashlight is because they're a little bit brighter and they just last a little bit longer because they don't use as much energy. I actually do want it on this side. This is the side that I would put it on normally, so I'm gonna just put it back over there. I just had it too close, so the carriage hit it. But yeah, try this at home because it is going to give you, like, it makes it much more obvious where the edge of the trimmer is than just trying to line it up with your eyeballs. Okay, so let's see. What other announcements do I have? Oh, well, the book club selection was made. And so we know what July book club is. So you can see how bright the flashlight is. We know what, not July. August book club's book is Aisha at Last, which was the one that was based on Pride and Prejudice. So the baseball people tried, but they were not able to persuade enough people to their team. So we are not reading The Art of Fielding, which is that Moby Dick baseball book. What trimmer do I use the most? The Rototrim, for sure. That's the one I use the most. I mostly only use the Fiskars trimmer for things that the Rototrim either can't do well. So like the 5x7 pinwheel, or cutting really small pieces off of small pieces. So like if you have a piece that's 1.5 inches and you need to make it 1 inch, the Rototrim's not great for that. So, the Rototrim works very well on chipboard. I've cut literally, and this is not an exaggeration, I do mean literally, thousands upon thousands of sheets on this thing over the years of chipboard, and it still works great. It's still on its first blade. I've had it since 2009, so or 2008, fall 2008. I've had it since fall 2008. Every once in a while, if you're cutting a lot of chipboard at once, so like if you're making something that has a ton of pieces, then it'll start to feel dull and like you have to work harder. All you have to do if that happens is just stop cutting chipboard for a minute and just like run the blade back and forth empty for a while. Because it's a self-sharpening blade. And then that'll stop if it starts to feel dull, that'll sharpen it right up. I remember when I ordered it, and I got it directly from Rototrim, and I wanted to order a replacement blade at the time because I didn't want to like have it lose its blade, and then I just didn't have a blade. And the guy was like, look, we sell replacement blades, but that's for like if it's in an accident, you know, it's never going to run out. You don't need one, so please don't buy one. And he was right, you don't need one. Okay, let's keep going. The big Fiskars is terrible. The Procision one with the rail, that one I hated. I returned it almost immediately after buying it. I bought it to see if it would be a budget alternative to the Rototrim to recommend, and I hated it so much I returned it like the next day. And my recommendation is like just keep saving your money for the Rototrim if it's an issue. Like it's better to just use an inexpensive Fiskars trimmer until you have the money saved for a Rototrim than to buy that big Fiskars trimmer, because it is it has so many problems. That's one of them that it's really so yeah, if you struggle with that one, this one is much better. Much better. It's more expensive. This one's about $225. But like I said, it's totally worth it because it's the last trimmer you'll buy. Shaka says she's returned that big Fiskars trimmer twice. Oh my gosh, that thing is like, I just, you know, it's funny because Fiskars makes some things so well, and then there's that thing, and you're like, where's the disconnect? Like, why is it that this trimmer, which costs a fraction of what that trimmer costs, is better than that trimmer? You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, I'm not a blade scientist, but it just seems like there's some kind of issue going on with whoever was in charge of the big Fiskars trimmer. Although that video I have where I'm sharing the tips and tricks on how to get the most out of your Fiskars trimmers has a lot of downvotes. So I guess maybe there are people who are like just intuitively better at using Fiskars products than I am. So maybe it's a me problem. Shaka, I did too because I got them during a Veterans Day sale. So it was like it was like, you know, some discount stacked with the veteran discount. Like I had the coupon plus the veterans discount. And so I paid very little for that trimmer and I still returned it. That's how bad it was. I think Barbara Jean's making a joke because I said I'm not a trimmer scientist, but I play one on TV or use one on TV. All right, so yeah, Fiskars makes fantastic scissors. They have great scissors. They have a rotary cutter for quilting that back when we used to sell Craftex by the yard, we used and loved. It was like a quilting ruler with a rotary trimmer blade attached to it. It was very convenient for things like cutting Craftex. But then they just have some products where it's like maybe a little more time at the drawing board. Yeah, I didn't even give it away. A lot of times if there's a product I don't love, I give it away as a joke. And then I give it away with something that's good, you know? And no, that one just went back to the store. That one just went back to the store. That didn't even become a joke prize. Like all the scoreboards. Yes, well, I think it's because, Shaka, the split on that Fiskars trimmer is in a really unfortunate spot because it's at 6 inches and then there's no measurements from like 6 inches to like 6.5 inches or something like that. And if you're doing paper crafting, like if you're making cards or even if you're making photo mats, it's just a really unfortunate place to have the break. And so it's like they just, you know, that's what I mean when I say it's like they didn't really think it through, because that's something that, you know, someone like, I know we are memory keepers, you know, we have a on again, off again relationship with them, let's say, but I don't think that's a mistake that I see we are memory keepers making. And I think it's because, you know, if they were to design a trimmer like that, it would be specifically for paper crafting and they would take things like that into account. Whereas with Fiskars, they make a ton of stuff. They're like the #1 blade maker in the world. So, you know, yeah, I'm sure the people on their like crafting division are thinking about crafts, but they're thinking about all crafts, I think. You know what I mean? So, all right, so now we're done with this because we've cut all the like big pieces. All right, so now that these are all cut out, I'm gonna move this and we're gonna talk about how I deal with embellishments. Oops, I missed one. Oh, well. I know, maybe I'll just send Fiskars my list of grievances. We can have an airing of the grievances. I saw a tool We Are Memory Keepers was coming out with, and I was like, oh, I should write this down because that's something I can make fun of on Scrappy Bowl, but I don't remember what it was now. But, you know, keep an eye out. Scrappy Bowl's 6 months away, so start keeping an eye out for the annual roasting of We Are Memory Keepers. Which, incidentally, to anyone who works for We Are Memory Keepers and is watching this video, which is hopefully none of them, look, my top 6 most used crafting tools after my trimmer are all made by We Are Memory Keepers. So just relax. Just relax. It's fine. You get a lot of, oh, there may not be any football this year. What are we going to do? Well, I tell you what, we'll still have a party anyway. How's that? So we'll just, if there is no Scrappy Bowl, we'll just call it the Kathryn Scraps anniversary or something. Okay? And we'll just call it that. And it'll be fine. It will be fine. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of each sheet, and I'm going to take the one that I haven't cut at all yet so that you can get an idea of how if I hadn't already started using these, how I would do it. And so this is something, this is what I do when I get a new collection and when I'm prepping to use it for a project. Okay, so let's talk about this, which is I just take tape. Oh, we could call it Corona Bowl. And the beverage of the year, because we won't have teams to celebrate, but we can just have Coronas. Although I don't like beer, so oh well. All right, so, but yeah, we'll do something even if there is no football. But speaking of sports ball, I watched some sports ball on Tuesday. I don't know how many of you follow hockey, but I caught the end of the Bolts game. Holy heck. Wow. That was something. And when I say I caught the end of the game, that game was 6 hours long because it had 5 overtimes. So the Tampa Bay Lightning and who are they playing? The Blue Jays, right? The Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets. You're a Blue Jackets fan? Oh my gosh. I felt so bad for the Blue Jackets because no one wants to lose a playoff game. But, like, after fighting so hard, I would have felt bad for whatever team lost because after fighting so hard for so many hours, I just can't imagine. I mean, they were so exhausted, all of them. Even the refs were so exhausted. This is Miracle Tape. That's what this adhesive is called. This is the 2-inch Miracle Tape. Okay, so now these are all stickers, basically. So when we cut them out, they will be all ready to stick down to the page. And so then what I would do is get your Tim Holtz scissors, and now I can never remember which it is, so I have to test it. But there's one way to hold the scissors, and I think it's TIMEZONE, where it creates a serrated edge. And then if you flip them over, it creates a smooth edge. Yes, okay. All right. So if you're right-handed and that the blank side of the scissor is facing left and Tim Holtz' name is facing right, these will not cut with a serrated edge. And then when you have Tim Holtz, when Tim is in, that's what it is. When Tim's in, you get the serration. If you cut Tim, when Tim is in, you get the serration. So you can flip these scissors over and have a smooth edge. And that way you can use the non-stick, you cut through the tape, it's not gonna wreck them, but you're gonna get a smooth edge. Your scissors won't be serrated as long as Tim's facing away from you, okay? So if you're left-handed, it's the opposite. You want Tim facing you, right? You want, well, no, you would want Tim away from you because you would be cutting like this. Let me just, yeah, you would want Tim facing away from you. Okay. So yeah, if Tim's in, that's how they're meant to be used to get the serration, so they cut through thicker things. But they are only serrated on one side, so if Tim's out, you get a smooth edge. So Tim's in, serrated, Tim's out, smooth. So then you can just use them like normal scissors. And then just cut out. I would cut out everything. I'm not going to cut out everything right now. I'm just going to tape everything and cut it out one at a time. But what I would do if I was preparing to do an album is I would cut them out and then I would punch all the holes so that they were just ready to go like they were stickers. And then you see on the back that they're stickers. All right. Okay, so that's how I prep embellishments. Okay. Now with the strips, you can stick them down. You can make the strips sticky ahead of time. However, I don't think that's necessary. And the reason I don't think that's necessary is because this is not a hard shape to tape. So just these, and same with cards. So cards and border strips, I would just tape as I go. You know, that's not something that I'm too worried about. All right, so let's get our first envelope. All right, so that's here. So when I'm talking about like adding some embellishments, I'm thinking maybe we'll add embellishments to this flap, but mainly we're going to add some embellishments to that flap. All right. So, you know, I guess it's really not necessary, but we can cuten it up. We can cutify it. Okay, so this one I think needs something red. Oh, I don't want stripes. Except maybe we'll do red and green. So that's one possibility right there. And then the other possibility is to just do this little strip. And then what we can do is maybe put something behind it. So I would just take a look at these and see if there's anything I want to go like right here. Wonder, what about the Polar Express? Like maybe if it was on the thing. So let's do that. Let's do that. And I didn't tape all of these, so I need to tape these. I need to tape these other two. So let me just tape these first, and then we'll start sticking stuff down. So we'll put the train. All right, so we tried to watch. Dawn watched the whole game. Oh my goodness. It was intense. It was intense. Game 2 starts in 40 minutes. Well, I saw that they had to move it because of how long that other game went. Yeah, you can tape the embellishment page and cut with the scan and cut. You have to then tape the page to the scan and cut because it won't stick so well with this. So what you do is, if you want to use the scan and cut, then you would take this and use washi tape on the edges to tape it to the scan and cut sticky thing, because the tape backing is smooth, so it's not going to stick very well to the scan and cut. So just go around the edges with washi tape and tape it to the scan and cut mat, to the mat. Thank you. I was like, to the thing, to the sticky thing. And that way it won't shift and get weird. How do you feel about the scan and cut? I hate it. I wish it was either better or worse, because it's not like so bad that I can just like throw it in a dumpster and be like, you know, it's an abomination, a pox on your house. But it's not good enough to recommend. So it exists in this weird space where, you know, sometimes I ask it to do something and it just does it. And I'm like, oh, wow, what a good machine you are. And then, you know, that happens like maybe 20% of the time. The rest of the time it's like, oh, let me fight you. But yeah, I even the scan and cut, like, I don't tape it before I put it in the scan and cut. So because the scan and cut has enough drama other already. So yeah, I don't know what its problem is. Now, I have heard that you can, is it with the Cameo? And Barbara Jean can correct me, but I think it's the Cameo. You can like print a registration mark on it, a piece of paper. You'd need a wide format printer for this, but you know, you can print a registration mark on a printer on embellishments, and it'll scan it, and then you can put it in again. But yeah, I don't know. I don't, it's not user friendly. Let's just say that. I don't find it to be user friendly. Now, if you're better with machines, you might like it. I've never really had a machine that I was like, oh yeah, this is a really good machine. I'm glad I own it. So, for whatever that's worth. I am cutting out the Polar Express, but I'm going to do the outside first so I don't forget it. I just want to look at I like the bow strip. I want to see if I want to put something kind of like in this space. And if I did, you know, what would I want to put there? I also like to know how many horizontal things I have. In this case, it's not many. I really only have 2 things that are horizontal to use. Okay. We've already used some of these. I'm going to put the ones we already used at the back. All right. Yeah, nothing is jumping out at me as is going to be great there. So I think we can just leave it. But this is enough of a little boost, I think, to make it look cute. Put it like right there. Yeah, it's cute. We would definitely want it low enough that it's going to fit here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark over here where we need to cut. And then we'll just pop it in the Fiskars trimmer. And then we should just be able to tuck it underneath, which we will be able to. Okay, so let's do the brown ink, gathered twigs. Nothing too intense, just a little bit on the edge just to crisp up the edge and fix any cutting issues that I may have had, if I had any. All right. And then I'm going to put A little bit of tape right on the edge. But yeah, so I'm not that necessarily the best authority on whether or not something works, but the scan and cut, I've never gone into a place where it just cuts everything out. I've tried a ton of different things, and it just didn't work. So I just don't use it. It's not even plugged in. And besides that, the only other electronic cutting machine I've used the Sizzix Eclipse, which I don't know if they make anymore or support anymore, and I gave to a school. And I've used the Cricut, but like way long ago, like 10 years ago. So nice. Okay. All right, so now we'll do the inside. So we're going to take this little thing there, and then we're going to cut out the train. I'm going to use my more detailed scissors, or my sharpest scissors, I guess is what these are. They're not that detailed. I'm cutting through adhesive. It's not ideal, but you just clean your blade if it starts to get gunked up. My blade's already pretty dirty, so... But yeah, if anyone ever invents a paper cutter that does what the Brothers Scan and Cut claims to do, then I would love it. But like the whole promise of the Brothers Scan and Cut was you just stick it in and it just does it. And that has yet to be my experience. I mean, maybe if you were doing like really super simple stuff like, you know, single stamped images and things like that, where it's just really obvious what's an image. And the problem is trying to do like embellishment sheets that are loaded up with images, but that's what I want it for. So I would pay good money for something that actually did what the Scan and Cut promised. Uh-oh, don't get caught. How about a room and board to be my scan and cut? Someone wants a job just like sitting around my spare room until I need stuff cut out. That's funny. That'd probably be really boring. You'd want it at least to come with Netflix. Could I come to Kona for a week to teach me your expertise? Oh, are you talking to Barbara Jean? Look, I'll say what I've said before when people ask me if I would help them organize their craft rooms. Yes, I will help you organize your craft room. I will charge you my normal rate for things, which is what? Chat? They should know in the chat what everything costs around these parts. And if you have pets, you have to also give me a hotel room. Yes, it is $5,000. Yes, that's what everything costs. Everything. It's non-negotiable. It's a take it or leave it situation. But I don't know what Barbara Jean's rate is. You'd have to ask her. But yeah, if you want me to come clean your craft room, whatever, that's all it is. It's simple. I'll do it. Someday someone's gonna have like a craft room that's like 3 rooms of floor to ceiling, like hoarders level stuff, and I'm gonna be really sorry that I made this offer, but yeah. See, I don't want to hear $5,000 would be a bargain to organize my thing. If you think $5,000 is a bargain, please don't call me. Miracle tape. Okay. So Miracle tape and score tape are the same type of tape in that they're both pressure sensitive tapes. Miracle tape costs a lot less than score tape. And so when people say it's better, I think what they typically mean is, it's more bang for your buck. Because I've used Miracle tape since probably around 2013, I want to say. And, it's been working for me great. But I will say that, in all the side-by-side tests I've done between it and Miracle tape, that the 1/8 inch Miracle tape doesn't work as well as the 1/8 inch score tape, which leads me to believe that, okay, that's cute, which leads me to believe that Miracle tape is not quite as strong as score tape, but it's not noticeable in any other size. So like 1/4 inch Miracle tape works just as well as score tape for what we're doing. That sort of thing. I'm gonna actually measure this one. Normally I don't, but I don't want my train to look like it's going like up or downhill or something like that, so. Hi, Carol. Welcome. Glad you're able to join us live. Put the train right there. How cute. It looks like it's going through the forest. Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's a lot of fun, this collection. Okay, look at that. Going through the snowy forest. All right, so we've added a little bit of embellishments. We're not trying to go crazy here, but we just want it to be, you know, a little extra, a little fun. So we've got one embellishment, or one envelope embellished. Let's go on to the next envelope. All right, so we've got Santa here on the back. I think maybe something like this, baby, it's cold outside. Like maybe that's what this music is. I mean, that's not what this music is, but we could maybe imply that that's what this music is. Although I don't like how that looks, so. This one may have enough going on just because it's got the town and the Santa saying shh. And then we have the music up here. I guess we don't have to necessarily do something on every single one. Probably because it's musical notes is why I'm... Sleigh Bells Ring is also musical. Let's look at musical ones. Maybe just the words. What if we maybe just stuck the words up here like that's the name of the song? And because it has washi tape on it. Joyeux Noel is also a song. What I might do is I'm going to cut this out with the silver strip. So it's just this, like it's a band around the silver, and I'm going to cut away the green. Before I do that, I'm going to put tape on the back of it because then it'll be super skinny when I'm done. But yeah, Miracle Tape is it's just a lot cheaper. So you'll notice that the rolls cost about the same, but the Miracle Tape roll is like at least twice as long. So okay. All right, so let's and then if we don't like this, then we can try just the words from the other one. But we'll be okay. All right, so now we have this that we could add as a band across. Just got to think about where we would add it. Like, can get in between. Now we could put it like here, and we could just cut this off and move it. I don't know. I don't know. No, Kimberly. Oh, well, now this I think is the way to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the end, and I'm going to ink it in the brown. Very carefully. Okay. And then we're gonna stick this down right there. Okay, so that's gonna go there. Then we're gonna take this and finish it off like so. So that the band goes all the way across. Kimberly, oh no, so wait a second. You can probably fix it. What happened? You glued a shaker thing. Let's think if we can fix it. I'm just gonna we'll troubleshoot the shaker. So I'm assuming that the shaker is already stuck to the cover, and it's stuck to the cover without the stuff inside it. Is that the problem? And it's glued. Is it glued down and that's why you can't peel it back up with undo or something like that? Or is it like a hole in the cover and it's in the middle? Okay. Used a sticky foam sheet and pressed it down really well. Okay, this is what I'm going to suggest that you do. All right, here's my shaker, and I'm going to stick it down and burnish it really well. We're going to do on the spot. Now, is it constructed where, I presume it's constructed so that you have paper, tape, acetate, paper, right? Is that what you've got? Oh, it's a camera die that was supposed to have the shaker stuff in the middle, and it's not attached to the cover yet. Okay. But basically you have something, you have, as long as this is the same layers as your thing, Yes. Okay. So you have your camera. So this is the camera's lens, I'm guessing. And you need to get stuff inside of it. And is it a die cut that you have? Like, could you cut it out again? Or is it something you cut out of a paper collection and you can't cut it out again? Because the answer is going to be different depending. You can cut it out again. Okay. If you can cut it out again, then you can do this. Just cut the acetate out of it, out of the middle. Like that. Add just miracle tape on top of your pattern paper like this in the shape, or glue, whichever. Add your little shaky pieces. Don't forget them. So pretend I did that. Put down a new sheet. Of transparency once your shaky pieces are in. And then go around the outside this time and trim. Or even if you could trim it like halfway, that would probably be even better. So it doesn't go all the way to the edge. Doesn't matter if you cut into the foam, it doesn't matter. And once you've got your acetate cut and scored, then you can just put your new die cut on top and you'll be all set. Okay. All right, now let's get the inside of this one done. Oh, we have music again. Blurred. And then it's a Frankenshaker. Then it is a Frankenshaker. All right. Let's see. Now, okay. Let's look at those. Let's see what else we can maybe mix in. Want something red, like this Merry Christmas. Okay. And let's see what else. Let's throw in little candy cane. Okay. All right, so we're gonna just okay. So these we're gonna cut into so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna see how I have this corner on this line. I'm gonna twist it so that the top corner is a 1/4 inch. No, I'm going to twist it so that there's one on 1 1/4 and one corner on 1 inch. So we've got the bottom corner on 1 inch, the top corner on 1 1/4 inches. And on the other one, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to do the other way so that, oof, they will go like so. Okay. And then we have to do the same thing with this one. We're going to cut off the rocking horse. And then let's cut out our little candy cane, which I don't know if we need the candy cane, but it won't hurt. holly. Holly is always a little tedious to cut out. I'm gonna switch to a smaller pair of scissors when I'm on the inside here. I'm gonna get all the way through cutting it out and then I'm not gonna like it. All right. I see that coming a mile away. Did the cats give me a good massage when I was hurting? Well, I mean, Kitty, Tiny Cat doesn't care about anyone other than Tiny Cat. However, Kitty, when she can tell people don't feel well, she hangs out with them and tries to make them feel better. So, you know, she lays next to them if they're sick, that sort of thing. So Kitty's the nurse kitty, you know. Like in February when Mr. Lifeguard and I were so sick, Kitty, she hung out with us as much as she could. But, you know, Kitty also gets scared if you sneeze too much, so sometimes, or cough too much or something like that. So you can test Kitty's patience, let's just say. I'm going to leave the thing. All right, I'm going to use red ink on these because I think we need a little bit more color. So this is Festive Berries. Okay. So when I have something like this where I have so many pieces, actually maybe I'll just do those three. That looks better, I think. All right, I'm going to just do these three. So we're going to stick these down. The red was just a little too intense, I think. You don't have to make this complicated. I mean, you know, make it as complicated as you want because it's your book. But what I'm saying is you don't have to if you don't want to. You know, because you're already showcasing the papers, and if you've added the shakers to the front, you know, you don't have to go crazy, but you can also go crazy if you want to go crazy. Go nuts! Make it as embellished as you want. Just remember you have to close it. That's the only thing to keep in mind, is that you've got to be able to close it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this one kind of where I want it. And I'm just going to slide this one in. All right, there we go. Then peel our little guy here. All right. We did it. Yay. Okay. Second one down. 10 to go. 10 to go. All right. Maybe this one is one where we can use some of the something gold. No. No. Okay. This is not one where we're going to use something gold. Nope. Nope. You want to use like a candy cane stripe? All right, I think these are what we need. Nope. All right, I'm going to ink this with the brown. And then all right. So we'll put this one down on the outside. I'm starting to get nervous that we're going to run out of strips, but worst case scenario, I'll just print more. So whatever. It's fine. It's fine if we run out of strips. Okay. This is 3/4 of an inch, so I'm going to stick it 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. All right, now onto the inside. I think we can use this one. Yes. Perfect. And maybe, nah, it's a little too tall. Let's see if there's anything in the embellishment sheets. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna, this one I cut out before I did so I'll just put some strips of tape on it before I cut it out again. Yes, we do have candy canes on this one already, but I'm fine with them repeating because they're the exact same candy cane. So it's tying the top to the bottom. And because the top is so busy, it actually helps calm it down a little bit. Okay. Oh, and next month we're going to read a book with a, well, you actually have a choice for September. My librarians put out a recommendation for books with sunglasses on the covers. Which when I saw that, I was like, I see everyone's phoning it in now with book clubs and book recommendations. But I did pick 3 books with sunglasses on the covers. If you want to do that for September from their list. And I did not pick Where'd You Go, Bernadette? Because I did not like that movie. So, even though Where You Go, Bernadette was on there twice for some reason, on their list twice. So we can do sunglasses, but we also had a request to do books with a cat on the cover, and I also have 3 of those. So we can go either way. I will say the books with the cats on the cover are more serious than the books with sunglasses on the covers. And a couple of them are classics. Like I have The Mascator and Margarita on there. And a modern. So think about it. Think about it. We can do both, and we'll just do cats in October. And we'll just rename our book club Judging Books by Their Covers. Pete the cat and his magic sunglasses. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is get this stuck down. I'm going to get... Oh, Pete the Cat is a real book. I don't think that was one of them. It was like some undercover bromance book club or something was one of them. So one of them was at least one of them was a romance. And one of them was a mystery thriller, maybe. The sunglasses ones were all over the place. Thanks, Joanne. You finished The Art of Fielding? Did you like The Art of Fielding? It's supposed to be good. Bye, Gigi. I actually might read The Art of Fielding. We'll see. What I'm working on now is I made a list of every book I bought in 2020 so far. And I'm like spent actual money on. And my goal is to read all of those before the end of the year. And then in 2021, I'll work on 2019 and just work my way back year by year. Okay. But yeah, I made a list of all the money I spent on books, and the most expensive book I bought this year was Unraveling Oliver. Because that was before the #1 requirement for book club to be included in book club. It was you had to be available at my library, and Unraveling Oliver was the book that taught me to consider that when I was picking book club books. So So after the month that we read Unraveling Oliver, which really, of all the books to spend money on, ugh, that one, ugh. But anyways, whatever. I own it now. Thanks. um, thanks, book club. Whose idea was this? Oh wait. Okay, I'm going to go over these leaves with my silver pen. To try and lighten it up because this black is just really intense. And we watched a couple episodes last night of The English Game, which is a series on Netflix that's about soccer and how professional soccer got started. Of course, it's called football in the series because it's British, but it's about soccer. Football as in soccer, not football as in NFL. There's a lot going on in this series. I don't think it needed as many plots as it has. It could have been, like 3 really good episodes instead of 6 episodes wandering all over the place. And then I watched The Handmaiden, which is Park Chan-wook's adaptation of Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. And if you have read Fingersmith by Sarah Waters and you made it through that book and the content wasn't too much for you, then you should really watch this movie because it's one of the best adaptations of any book ever that's ever been made in the history of movies adapting books. I have to clean my scissors. They're getting a little messed up. And if you haven't read Fingersmith, and so you don't know about the content, just there's a content warning for let's see, abuse. For sure. Child abuse, that kind of stuff, but it's not a happy story, really. But like I said, so I'm mostly recommending the movie to people who have read the book and enjoyed and appreciated the book, let's say. And Park Chan-wook is the director of Oldboy. So if you're familiar with his content and you like his content, this is not anything beyond what he's already done or more extreme than what he's already done. But it's like I said, it's one of the best adaptations that's ever been made of a book. He moves it from Victorian London to colonial Korea, when it was being colonized by the Japanese, or was under Japanese occupation in the 1930s before World War II. It's a great setting. But it's definitely not a family film. So, and he's can be extreme as a filmmaker in terms of pushing boundaries. But he's not doing it typically. He's not doing it just to do it. So he does have reasons. It's just, you know, what your threshold is. So maybe just look into some of what's going on before you watch it, if you're intrigued. Okay, let's see. Let's go now to the next one. We have time to do one more. All right, so we've got Nope. Ugh. This is a nitpick, and I do like this collection, but I would like it better if all of the peppermint stripes were kind of facing the same direction, on the same angle. These ones match up. Candy read Dark Matter last week, and she thought it was really interesting. Good. I would hate if you'd read it and you thought it was completely uninteresting. I mean, I suppose not every single one has to have a thing on it, but what do I want to do? All right, I'm going to try cutting these letters up and see if I like them. I do think Dark Matter is really interesting. Like, you know, if I'm going to read a book about physics, that's the kind of book about physics I want to read. Because I also read Randomized by Andy Weir, which I thought was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Which is also a story about physics, or quantum physics specifically. But it was so bad. And like when I got to the end of it, I was like, so The Martian is popular. Hopefully it's better than this. So what I'm gonna do is cut these so that they're just white strips. And we'll do 1/2 inch white strips. So if you've read The Martian, let me know what you thought, because Randomize was either not his best work or it's not for me. Or maybe Andy Weir is not for me if it's indicative of his work. But yeah, it was about someone invents like a pocket quantum computer, and it's set in Vegas, and it's all about like what cheaters would do with a quantum computer and how the casinos would deal with it. But it's like everything about it is just just so stupid. So I mean, there's no other way to describe it. Like some of the criminals' plans, you're just like, what the hell is this plan? This is so stupid. Like this, you're gonna get. It is obvious to me, as someone who doesn't work in casino security or quantum computing, that this is a terrible plan, and that you will immediately be caught. And I'm being told by the author that you're one of the smartest people who's ever lived. And I just find that incredibly hard to believe. I'm so regretting cutting this up into strips. This is one of those things that you're like, this better work. I better like this because it took me so long to do it. Okay. We got there. We did it. Now, that's actually pretty cute. So it paid off. It paid off. All right, I'm going to use festive berries on these. Although maybe Andy Weir was making a commentary on the type of people smart enough to be able to use a quantum computer to rob a casino, or maybe not, like, let's say, practical or good at crime. Like, it's a different skill set, but I mean, I am also neither a master thief nor a quantum computer, and I could see that the plan was doomed. So, I mean, I don't know how out of touch these scientists were. Okay. So the trick with this is to not necessarily try to get it like super perfect. It's okay if they're kind of crooked, but don't try to make it crooked. So like they're going to be more crooked. They're going to look more random if you don't try to make them crooked than if you try to make them crooked. Because so like see how this looks not as good as this, where I'm trying to make them straight, but they just aren't straight. Okay. So we've got the best of all gifts around any Christmas tree, the presents of a happy family all wrapped up in each other. All right, here we've got postage. So maybe it's time to use the Reindeer Express, or actually going to use this because then we have stars on the bottom and stars on the top. but they're not the same exactly. So we're getting more variety of color. And we also have the little Merry and Bright. Merry and Bright. All right, and stick that there. And then I think I want to give it like a little green border, so I'm going to cut some strips off of these strips, just like 1/8 of an inch. Okay. Well, I have enough room to cut 1/4 of an inch, so maybe I'll cut 1/4 of an inch. So there's one. Here's the other. Okay. All right, so now we have these little strips. And I'm going to I'm still broadcasting on my PC. Like, I still see myself, so I don't know what's... All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm just going to... I just want like 1/8 of an inch showing. Oops. Ugh. Okay. All right. Well, in terms of recordings, just so you guys know that I don't use the recording YouTube makes. I make a local recording now. So I'm always, even if I am not online, I would still be recording. So it's, one thing you don't have to worry about is that a recording would be lost. Because the only way I would not have a recording of a show would be if my computer crashed and so I didn't have a local recording, but then Also, whatever server YouTube makes their recording on also didn't make a recording for some reason. So if that is what's going, if those circumstances were to both happen, my guess would be we would not need to be worrying about that episode because it was probably the last one. So. Yes, exactly, Donna. I just want to let you know that it's a whole different setup from the bad old days when it was easy to lose a recording. Now it would be incredibly, incredibly difficult to lose a recording. I mean, we're talking like the world is possibly no longer the same level of catastrophe. Okay, so there we go. Very cute. Very cute. Very cute. All right. So we got 3 pockets done. No, we got 4 pockets done. There's one drying off to the side. So we're a third of the way through, right? So we'll be back tonight. Maybe we can finish it if we're very, very good. If we're very good. Maybe we can finish decorating all our pockets and then next week we'll do the box. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful evening. Those of you who are overseas and are headed off to enjoy the rest of your evening or go to bed, have a wonderful weekend as well. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, Joyce. That's why I make a local recording. When I say local recording, I mean, I make a recording at the same time that I'm broadcasting. I'm making a recording on my computer. And then YouTube is making a recording on their server. But I don't use that one because the quality of the one that I make locally is better. So I only use the YouTube one in emergencies when mine messes up. And mine does mess up sometimes. But normally it's not a problem. So no worries. No worries. All right. Thanks so much for watching. And I will be back tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern USA time, which is 5 hours from now. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. And soon it will no longer be Christmas in July. Or I guess it's Christmas in August now. And then we'll be back to finishing the school album, which is now relevant again. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye now.